Unlock your potential today at skillbakery.com.
In this one, our goal is to refactor the Redux-based to-do app into reusable components. For that, we'll be first of all creating a directory inside our src directory, and we'll be calling it as components. Inside this directory, we will be creating components. Now, why we need to extract components? First of all, it's going to give us better separation of concerns, and then it will also improve reusability, which will help us in maintenance and testing the whole application. So breaking the app into components, we'll be creating two types of components. First is the presentational components, which will focus on UI rendering, and it will receive props like data and callbacks. And then we'll have container components, which will connect to Redux and handle state management and logic. Now, let's start with the presentational components. The first one that we'll be creating is going to be called todo.js. Now here in todo.js, we will be handling a single to-do item. So we will be importing from React, and here you can see we have the to-do item, which is going to have three things: text, completed, and on-click. On-click will handle the on-click event, and the style we will be applying over here will be based on the completed status. If it's completed, then we'll say line through, otherwise none, and the cursor is set to pointer. And then we'll be displaying the text over here. So that's the basic to-do item that we have. Next in this, we will be creating another component, which will be TodoList.js. And this one will basically show the list of to-do items that we have. It's going to import to-do from the to-do component. And here you can see we have the to-do list, which has got these to-dos and toggle to-do. So toggle to-do is passed as a callback. And here you can see that we are iterating through each to-do item. And internally, we're calling this to-do over here. We'll be creating another component, and this will be responsible for adding new to-do items. So for that, we'll be calling it as AddTodo.js. And in this one, we'll be making use of React and user state. Here we have AddTodo, and we're passing this AddTodo over here. We're setting the initial input using user state, and this is going to be blank. And on clicking of the AddTodo button, we'll be basically submitting the form, and we'll submit, and then this function will get called. We are trimming the input entered by the user and then calling this AddTodo, which will add the to-do item. And finally, we are setting the input back to blank. And here we are exporting it. Now let's save this as well as the to-do list that we created. Next, we will be having another component, and we'll be calling it as a footer.js. So let's go inside component, click on this file, say footer.js, and here we will be basically using it for filters and theme toggle. So here we have our React, and then footer will have set filter and toggle theme. And here you can see that on click, we are calling this set filter, which is going to filter all completed or incomplete tasks. And then we have toggle theme over here, which is going to toggle the theme. Finally, we are exporting our footer over here. It said this as well. Now we'll be working with the container component. So inside the components directory, we'll now create another file, and we'll be calling it as VisibleTodoList.js. Now inside this one, we will be connecting the TodoList.js to Redux. So here, if you notice, we have our React Redux, and then we are using the store to-do slice, and here we are having store selectors, and then this is the to-do list from the components. The visible to-do list, as you can see, makes use of the select filtered to-dos, and then we have the dispatch over here, and it's returning the to-do list. And here you can see that it says dispatch toggle to-do, and the ID is shown over here or passed over here. Now let's save this as well, and let's review it. So basically, this particular component connects to-do list to Redux. It uses useSelector to get the filtered to-dos, and it makes use of useDispatch to update Redux state. Now, creating another component over here, and this time we'll be calling it as filterlink.js. Now this is going to connect footer.js to Redux. So here we are using useDispatch from React Redux, and then we have set filter from filter slice, and here we have filter length. Let's save this and understand what we are doing over here. So here we are dispatching the set filter when clicked, and this is basically used inside footer. I will be creating another component, and this component will be called as AddTodoContainer.js, and this is basically responsible for connecting AddTodo.js to Redux. So let's do that as well over here. So here we are using use dispatch AddTodo from store/todo slice, and then we have AddTodo from components AddTodo. And this basically connects AddTodo.js to Redux and dispatches AddTodo text. Save this as well. And here we'll be doing one more thing. We'll be creating a directory, and not inside src, not inside components, but inside src. So let's select src, and then let's create the directory called store. And okay, you notice we are referring from store to do slice. So let's move these files to do slice, name slice, as well as filter slice into this directory that we have created called store. So now let's review this. So we have to do slice, we have filter slice, and here we have store to do slice. And let's also move the selectors inside the store itself. So here we have our selectors inside the store directory, and that's pretty much it. Now let's go to our app.js file. So here we have our app.js file, and here we will assemble everything in app.js. So over here, let's import the necessary things. So here we have React, use selector, use dispatch. We have VisibleTodoList and AddTodoContainer, AddTodoContainer. We have footer, and here we have toggle theme. Now let's go ahead and update the app function as well. So here we have our dark mode initialized, and then we have our dispatch. And next we will be calling the components over here. So we'll get rid of this whole return statement that we have over here, and we'll be updating it with our return statement. We have div with this style, and under that we have AddTodoContainer, we have VisibleTodoList, and here we also need to import the filter slice from store. So this also gets resolved. Let's save this now, and let's go ahead and run the application. If you want, you can further divide this component into two directories, one being the component for presentation and one for container components. But we have kept everything inside this components directory itself. Like these two, you could have put them inside container directory. So let's go ahead now and run this application. And here we have our application now. Let's go ahead and add few items. So here I've added 4 items. Now let me go ahead and mark few of them as complete. So now if I click on completed, you'll notice only the completed ones are coming up over here. If I mark incomplete, it is going to show first and third. And here if I click on all, it is going to show all the tasks. And then if I click on toggle theme, we'll notice the background getting changed as well as the foreground color. So here, the store.js file still resides outside the components and store directory, and it kind of references these files that we have, to do slice, theme slice, filter slice, from the store directory that we have recently created. And that's pretty much it. That's how you create components and then connect them with Redux. So that's how we refactor our application into presentational and container components. If you find the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe.